In part 1, we prepared lifting operations. We confirmed the load, selected the crane, checked the lifting radius and configuration, inspected the crane and lifting accessories, established the exclusion zone, planned the load path, and briefed the lifting team. Now, the load is rigged and ready, but preparation alone does not make the lift safe. From the moment the load leaves its support until it is safely landed, communication, positioning, and control became critical. Before movement begins, everyone must know who is directing the crane. During normal lifting operations, the crane operator should receive movement signal from the designated signal person. Multiple people giving signals can create confusion and unintended movement. However, if anyone identifies an immediate danger, they must be able to give the stop or emergency stop signal, and the operator must respond. Communication must be very clear and understood before the crane moves. Where radios are used, instructions should be short, specific, and acknowledged. For example, hoist slowly. Operator acknowledge the instructions, then perform movement. If the signal is unclear, communication is lost, or operator is uncertain about the instructions, stop the operation until the communication is restored. Do not immediately raise the load to full lifting height. Begin with the controlled trial lift, raising the load only enough to transfer its weight from the supports. Pause and check the load balance, rigging security, hook and sling positions, crane response, and any unexpected movement. If the load tilts, shifts, or rigging does not behave as expected, lower it safely and correct the problem before continuing. If the load begins to tilt or rotate unexpectedly during the trial lift, do not try to correct the problem by pushing, pulling, or physically holding the suspended load. Stop the movement, lower the load to a safe position, and reassess the rigging arrangements. The problem should be corrected while the load is safely supported, not while workers are exposed around suspended load. Once the load is suspended, personnel must remain clear of the fall zone and the potential path of the movement. Never stand beneath a suspended load. Never position yourself where a swinging, rotating, or unexpectedly moving load could strike or crush you. The safest position is the one that provides an escape path and keeps you outside the line of fire. A particularly dangerous position is between a moving load and fixed object. If the load shifts even slightly, there may be no time or space to escape. Never place your body between the suspended load and pipe racks, trailers, structures, equipment, or other fixed objects. Always consider where the load could move, not only where you expect it to move. Some loads may require additional control to prevent hazardous rotation or movement. Where appropriate, a suitable tag line or restraint line may be used. The person controlling the line must remain in safe position, maintain an escape route, and never wrap the line around the hand or his body. A tag line is a load control tool. It is not a reason to stand close to the suspended load. Similarly, the crane movement should be smooth and controlled. Sudden accelerations, braking, swinging, or shock loading can increase the dynamic forces and cause the load to move unexpectedly. The crane operator should follow the agreed signal and maintain control speed appropriate for the load, crane configuration, environment, and lifting plan. Now, this is very critical important. A crane is designed to lift the load in accordance with its intended configuration and manufacturer's requirement. Do not use the crane just to drag or pull the load sideways unless the equipment and procedure specifically permits that operations. Side loading can introduce forces that the crane and lifting system were not intended to withstand. Establishing an exclusion zone before the lift is not enough. It must be controlled throughout the operations. Workers, vehicles, and unauthorized personnel must not enter the load path or lifting area while the load is being moved. If the exclusion zone is breached, stop the lift until the area is clear again. As the load moves, continuously monitor the load path. Check clearance from the structures, equipment, pipe racks, vehicles, overhead obstructions, and other hazards. Never assume that because the first part of the lift was clear, the remaining path will also be clear. The condition must remain safe throughout the movement. Conditions can change during lifting operations. Wind may increase, visibility may reduce, personnel may enter the area, communication may fail, equipment may behave unexpectedly, or planned load path may become obstructed. When conditions change, stop the operation, load safe, reassess the situation, and continue only when effective controls have been restored. Every person involved in the operations must remain alert to changing hazard. If anyone sees an immediate danger, they should call stop. The crane operator should respond to the stop or emergency stop signal, regardless of who gives it. Work should resume only after the hazard has been understood and controlled. Landing the load deserves the same level of controls as lifting it. Before lowering begins, confirm that the landing area is clear, stable, and prepared to support the load. Suitable supports or dunnage should be positioned before the load arrives wherever required. Avoid creating a situation where a worker needs to place their hands or bodies underneath a suspended load to prepare the landing area. As the load approaches to the landing position, the risk of hand and finger injuries increases. Do not place hands between the load and its supports to guide or align it. Use the planned load control method and maintain safe body positioning. Only approach the load when it is safe to do so and in accordance with the lifting procedures. Lower the load smoothly until it is fully supported and stable. Before anyone approaches to remove the rigging, confirm that the load can no longer shift, roll, or move unexpectedly. Release tension from the lifting system in a controlled manner. Rigging should only be disconnected when the load is stable and personnel can access it safely. When removing the lifting accessories, remain aware of store tensions, shifting components, pinch points, and movement of the hooks or slings as they are released. Do not pull the track rigging forcefully with the crane. If an accessory is trapped, stop and determine a safe method of releasing it without exposing the workers to sudden movement. One of the most serious lifting mistakes is allowing people beneath a suspended load. Even when the crane and rigging are properly selected, equipment can fail, load can shift, and unexpected movement can occur. Never treat a space beneath a suspended load as a normal working area. Another common mistake is allowing several people to direct the crane operator. For example, one person signal hoist, another signal swing, and someone else shouts stop. And this creates confusion at exactly the moment when a clear communication is most important. Establish the designated signal person before the lift begins and maintain the communication arrangements throughout the lifting operation. Similarly, never rely on worker pushing, catching, or holding suspended load with their hands to keep it under control. If the load cannot be safely controlled using the planned lifting and load control method, stop the operation and reassess. Human strength is not a substitute for the proper rigging and load control. Familiarity can create another hazard, which is complacency. A load may have been lifted hundreds of times, but today's ground conditions, crane position, rigging, personnel, weather, or load arrangements may be different. Never replace the required checks with the assumption that this is just another routine lift. Crane safety devices and operational aids provide important information and protection, but they do not replace proper planning or professional judgment. The lifting team must still understand the load, configuration, radius, environment, rigging arrangements, and operating condition. Technology supports a safe lift. It does not make decision for the lifting team. Now let's review the complete lifting process from part 1 and part 2. Understand the load, plan the lift, select and set up the crane, inspect the crane and lifting accessories, rig the load correctly, establish the exclusion zone and communication method, conduct the free lift briefing, perform the trial lift, control the load and keep everyone outside of the line of fire, monitor condition throughout the operations, prepare the landing area, lower the load smoothly, confirm it is stable, and only then remove the rigging. Now remember these key principles. Never guess the load weight. Never exceed the crane's rated capacity for the actual configuration. Use suitable and inspected lifting accessories. Establish clear communication. Start with a control trial lift. Keep people away from suspended loads and out of line of fire. Control the load from safe position. Stop whenever condition changes or communication is lost. And never approach to remove the rigging until the load is fully supported and stable. A safe lifting operation is not defined by whether the load reached its destination. It is defined by whether the load was planned, rigged, communicated, controlled, and landed without exposing people to unnecessary risk. Every person in the lifting team has a role, but everyone shares one responsibility. If the lift becomes unsafe, stop it. Thank you very much for watching Safety with Zahid. If you found this 2-part lifting series useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your colleagues. Stay safe, stay out of line of fire, and remember, plan the lift and control the load.